And then the last thing I want to address, and then I know, I'm sorry I'm taking up so much time, I'm going to run out after I do this. The last thing I want to address that's been kind of particularly challenging for me personally, just because of who I am and how I grew up, but there's been a lot of rumors out there that we're trying to tax churches. I can unequivocally tell you I'm not trying to tax churches. Bo Boyer is not trying to tax churches. Jacob Landry isn't. Josh Carlson isn't. I don't think anybody in the legislature is, and Governor Landry is certainly not. Let me kind of explain where that argument stems from. So when we did an analysis on our state constitution, they came back and it was a kind of a national nonpartisan organization that did this, and they said, look, you guys have by far the broadest language for property tax exemptions that are locked up in your constitution. Most every other state has it in their tax code. Y'all have it locked up in your constitution. So we said, okay, and that was what was contributing to it being so long and just full of unnecessary things that really should be in statute. So we decided to move a lot of those property tax exemptions into the tax code. It's protected by a 2/3 vote of the legislature and gubernatorial signature, which is actually not something that a constitutional amendment requires. But so we did that, except for the homestead exemption. Obviously, we know every individual in Louisiana benefits from the homestead exemption. We left that in the Constitution. And then came the matter of churches. And so we sat down with a lot of church organizations and we said, look, I completely agree that our religious freedoms and our protecting our churches rises to the level of constitutional protection. So we put the church language back into the Constitution to protect them. Where some of this opposition started was we had a few concerns pop up. Now, again, during the session, we had a few church organizations come. We sat down, we worked it out. They were all very comfortable. The gentleman from the Council of Bishops, Tom Costanza, that represents the Catholic Church, was there. He sat down and worked with us on the language. Will Hall, who's a gentleman from the Southern Baptist Association, Louisiana Baptist Association, came and sat down with us. He was comfortable with it. Unfortunately, just, I guess, obviously not everyone knew about it and didn't know to come to the Capitol necessarily, and so there started being some questions that spread out there. As some of those concerns were brought to us, I said, look, and mainly what it was, the language protects pretty much the church campus, okay? So everything, it says houses of worship, it says housing for clergy, parsonages, educational institutions, and like seminaries, things of that nature. And so all of that is totally protected in the Constitution. I'll sit here and tell you, I believe that probably 99% of the churches in Louisiana, every single building they own falls under one of those categories. Where the controversy started was, I had a couple people that came and said, okay, well, what about this ministry that my church facilitates? What about, somebody said, we have a food bank downtown that we run. It's a ministry. It's not on our church campus, on our property. And I said, look, first of all, it is in zero danger of being taxed, because every single thing, like I said, if it's not staying in the Constitution, it was just moved into statute with the 2/3 protection and 2/3 vote in the tax code. So if you are property tax exempt today, you will be on March 30th if this passes. You will be in perpetuity until this passes. So my point is that no one is in any danger of having a sudden property tax by any means, and I wholeheartedly believe that almost 100% of our churches are entirely protected with that church language that we left in the Constitution. However, I will concede that I am not perfect by any means, Lord knows. And so, a couple of them that came to me with concerns, I said, look, no problem. We will sit down in the next session. I will broaden the language to make sure that you feel very, very comfortable that all of your related ministries are protected in the Constitution, and we'll figure that out. So that's kind of where that came from. It's been challenging. I'm not feeling sorry for myself by any means, but it's been challenging because never once was that a discussion in the legislative session, and I certainly know that is not the desire or the heart of any legislator who voted for this. I do take it a little personally because I kind of feel bad for my colleagues here, because I authored the bill, and feel like I'm kind of hanging them out on the lurch there. So if you do have any questions related to ministries, churches, anything, please call me. I'll be happy to show you the language. I truly feel like they are extremely protected in this amendment. But again, there's so many other things that are going on in this amendment. I hate that that's been a major concern that's really distracted from some of the other great fiscal reforms that are happening. Lastly,